Freedom Street Garage, welcome back. My name is Alex, and here we have a Cadillac CT5V Blackwing, and today we're gonna go over what makes this car special. So let's dive right into the build sheet for this thing. Starting off up front, you can see this car has a very special color, and this is actually a wrap from Inozetek. It's metallic gunmetal with a satin laminate on top of it. This was done by SD Design House, and I think it gives the car a very nice, like, aggressive look that doesn't hide the lines of the body. Like if you kind of did a gloss wrap, it accentuates the curves and the sharpness of this car very well. And once again, up front, we've got lots of goodies from Anderson Composites. So starting up top here, we have the Anderson Composites carbon fiber hood, and we've gone ahead and left some parts of it exposed so that you can see that it's carbon fiber and you can see those aggressive lines of it, yet, you know, keeping the elegance of the Cadillac by wrapping the rest of it and only leaving a small amount of it exposed so you know it's there. We've also got upper, lower grills, as well as all of the trim and the side grills. All of those are carbon fiber. And in back, we've got something special from Anderson as well. We've got their carbon fiber rear spoiler. So that's a pretty hefty amount of carbon on this thing. And I think it adds to the car's aggressiveness in general. Let's take a look underneath the hood because there is some serious power under there, and this thing packs a really potent V8. So let's crack it open. So underneath the hood of the CT5V Blackwing, you've got the Blackwing only 6.2 liter supercharged V8. This is a hand-built V8 from GM's performance plant. This one was made by Crystal Strickland, and it has the badge right on top of the supercharger lid, showing that this was handcrafted by someone special for a very special car. 668 horsepower, 659 pound-foot of torque. It's completely stock underneath the hood. However, we did add a Magnaflow exhaust. We didn't just add it, actually. It's a fully custom Magnaflow exhaust because no one makes a exhaust for this car that's not from the header back. So there's lots of options for the header back, but for just a bolt-on option, not much on the market for this car, and Magnaflow stepped in and made us an extremely nice exhaust for this thing that it retains the stock style valves, yet it goes to full 3-inch all the way back, and it's tuned, it's not tuned, but it has a muffler that is selected specifically for this car to retain that deep V8 sound, yet let it unleash when it's, you know, wide open. So very nice addition to this car, and might have given it a couple more horsepower too. We might have to confirm that. So yeah, like I said, stock underneath the hood, but it's fine stock. These cars, like I said, plenty of horsepower and they drive great bone stock. This piece right here, the strut tower brace, doesn't look stock, but believe it or not, it is stock. And so let's go ahead and close the hood and take a look at some of the other mods on this car. Moving on to one of my personal favorite parts of this entire car are the wheels. We've got the Vossen HF7 wheels in bronze. They're wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport tires, Pilot Sport 4S tires. And that combined with the Eibach Springs that lower this thing down, it just gives it a nice aggressive fitment, and like the stance looks awesome. So let's take a look at the back because there's some stuff back there that you guys got to see. Moving on to the back, we've got more Anderson Composites carbon fiber parts on this thing. And right here we have the Anderson Composites carbon fiber spoiler. And from the factory, the Blackwing has a very subtle and very slim kind of lip spoiler along the trunk. And it's not very noticeable. It kind of keeps this thing under the radar, but adding this piece from Anderson gives it that just more aggressive look. You know it's there. It makes you want to drive the car harder. And it just, the entire profile of it, it just finishes the car off. So I'm a big fan of this thing, and I think it ties the car together by making the rear end more finished. Around back, we've also got what's pretty noticeable, I guess not really that noticeable at this point, but to me it's noticeable. We did the blacked out badges. So this car comes with like a brushed metal look badge from the factory, but we've swapped all of them out for these badges that are black, and it just makes it look awesome because it's kind of a sleeper at that point. Not really a sleeper, more of a just like if you know that it's there, you know, versus being, you know, really bright silver badge on this thing. It just makes it look more menacing. All right, that's enough of the exterior. Let's hop inside and check out some of the features inside of the Blackwing because it's loaded with lots of tech. All right, inside of the Blackwing, this is a very nice place to be. You've got the very sporty steering wheel. It's got the red stripe and the carbon fiber on the bottom. You've got the heated and cooled massage seats, and not to mention the Cadillac infotainment. This is a very nice system. It's smooth, it's fast, and it's just really easy to use. On top of that, you've got your driving mode. So this car has a bunch of different driving modes, whether you want to drive in the snow, in touring mode, in sport mode, or in track mode. All of those are going to change the way the car drives dynamically and allow for a couple different feels of the way this car moves. And not to mention V mode. V mode is so special that it gets its own large diameter button on the steering wheel. Pressing this button allows you to personalize the vehicle's drive settings, but more focused on the way the vehicle handles dynamically and with an emphasis on performance. So pressing that button is going to automatically open up the exhaust, change the steering, change the way the transmission and the suspension feel, but it's exactly how you want it. So you preset it to the mode that you want it to be with all the settings like selected by you. Not to mention, this car has some of the most intelligent traction management in any car, and especially for a car like this. This car has arguably one of the best traction systems. The performance traction management in this car allows you to drive in the wet, in the dry, you know, in a track setting though. So not just like dumbing down the traction for, you know, a wet surface, but it allows you to drive still as if you're driving at a racetrack in the wet, which is a very nice touch for this car because it's a performance car after all. And speaking of the performance traction management, that leads me to another pretty big feature that this car comes with from the factory, and that's launch control. The Blackwing comes with launch control, and it's very easy to use. You just have to pull it up on the screen, be in the proper traction setting, hold your foot on the brake, press the gas, and launch. It also sounds really good. Let's insert a clip of this thing launching at the airfield day that we did. So yeah, as you can see, the launch in this car is very aggressive, and you can see that when the car loads up and gets on the two-step, it like squats down a little bit and then it takes off. And it almost looks kind of like a frog. It's a pretty aggressive launch and it just sounds awesome. I could hear it all day long. Let's insert another clip of it. Also, just looking around in the interior, you've got carbon fiber everywhere. You have carbon on the dash, you have carbon on the center console, you have carbon on both doors, and this car has AKG audio from the factory, so it sounds really good. So not only are you driving, you know, with a very sweet sound of that LT4, but you've also got the AKG audio, so when you're ready to bump some tunes, you can just crank them up and it's gonna sound amazing. This thing also has torch red seatbelts. You'll notice a lot of sportier cars and cars that are specifically made to go around a track or drive in like a high performance setting come with seatbelts that are this color, and of course the Blackwing has those. You'll also notice this car does not have a sunroof. Cars that don't have sunroofs are sportier, believe it or not, because it's less weight for when you're on the racetrack. So that's why this car doesn't have a sunroof. The Cadillac CT5V Blackwing is loaded with tons of features, tons of tech, for racing it on the track. And if you want to be the winner, tap that link below, head over to freedomstreetgarage.com. We could be handing you these keys plus $10,000 cash. Good luck.